What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be about preparing for baby, but kind of like the less fun stuff, like the paperwork and the logistics and the budgeting and stuff. But I think it's really practical stuff that you kind of have to do along with all the fun stuff. So I thought it might be helpful for you guys if I made a video that kind of went through the list of things that we've done and we're working on to prepare for baby. So I will jump right into it, and the first thing that I did is tell my work. Now, right now I'm about 25, almost 26 weeks pregnant, and I told my work at around 13 weeks. So after I hit the end of the first trimester, I had had a couple ultrasounds. I knew everything was looking good. I was kind of starting to get to the point where I wasn't showing, but I was definitely like bloated-ish feeling. And I thought I might start showing soon, so I wanted to be the one to tell them myself versus like anybody wondering anything. So what I did is I did two things. One, I set up a meeting with our HR person, and I just said, you know, I just sent her an email and said, do you have a couple minutes to meet? I just have some questions, and just kept it generic because I really wanted to like explain face-to-face what was going on and ask all my questions, and I didn't want her to start telling other people at my work about it. Not that she would, but like the higher ups and stuff, until I had a conversation with her, so I kind of knew what to expect. And then that same day that I had the meeting with her, I sent an email to my the head of my department, and he was out of town, so I couldn't meet with him in person. I had tried to set up an in-person meeting, but I couldn't, so I just sent him an email and said, you know, I have some exciting news to share. I'm pregnant, I'm due this time. I want to make sure the transition is smooth, leaving for maternity leave and coming back, so please let me know anything I can do to help that happen. And I will be sharing with the HR department today, and you know, I'll be telling people as of now. So he knew he could tell other people, it wasn't a secret. And then I met with HR, and that was that. So how did my meeting with HR go? I mean, obviously this advice, it depends on the size of your company. Like my company has an HR department. If you work at a place that's really small, or like it doesn't work like that, obviously this may not all exactly apply to you, but just some ideas. So then when I met with HR, I had like a list of questions I'd already written down, some of which are like, what sort of benefits do I have while I'm on maternity leave? How long can I take? You know, I forget, I had Googled like questions to ask your job when you're telling them you're pregnant, and just came up with a few that seemed like they were good ones to ask, and asked them. It was a relatively short meeting, like less than 10 minutes. Normally, if you're like in your 20s or 30s, particularly if you're in any sort of relationship, it's not going to be super shocking to your work if you come tell them that you're pregnant, because that's when women get pregnant. So just keep that in mind. Like I was really nervous, but I'm also like, what do they expect? They hire a 30-year-old married woman who's been married for 5 years. Like obviously, if that's something that we want, that's gonna be happening while I work here, unless I'm leaving after a year or two, you know? So anyway, go into it with an open mind. Nowadays, I feel like a lot of companies just have like good policies in place. There's a lot of laws that protect pregnant women and mothers and families. So just know that depends on like what country you're in, obviously, but in the US, you do have laws that protect you. One thing to also keep in mind is in the US, there is very little pay during maternity leave for most companies. So that's something you need to plan for, and something you want to find out sooner than later, so you can have that time to save up whatever you need to save up in order to be able to take your maternity leave. So that kind of leads me to my next point, which is budgeting. It's good to kind of estimate what you think the cost for baby will be. Now, if you're a first-time mom like me, you kind of are shooting in the dark a little bit with this, because like, I don't know how much our grocery budget each week is gonna go up. Like I added about $100 a month for diapers. And then like when baby starts eating baby foods, like how much more is that gonna cost? How much is their healthcare gonna cost? Other like incidentals for baby, clothes, all that stuff. Like I just don't know how fast they're gonna go through things, and like baby things and baby clothes tend to be less expensive than adult clothes because they're smaller, but I just don't know what that number is gonna look like. So I have a range in my mind of like what I think it's gonna cost each month for baby as time goes on. And then from there, like how much is daycare gonna cost? What daycare are you gonna use? Do you need daycare? Like some people aren't gonna go back to work, or some people get a really long maternity leave, or they have family that can help watch the baby. So thinking about all those things, what you're gonna do and kind of plan it out. For me, it not only was important, but it also gave me a lot of peace of mind to know that we had figured those things out. And then obviously things like what sort of loss of income are you gonna have during maternity leave? Like, are you gonna go back full time? What else did we put on there? Oh, just like startup costs, like, you know, is it gonna cost anything for your doctor's appointments, for delivery, for like the baby's nursery or whatever things you're getting for baby. Obviously, like a lot of people do baby showers, so you get some things gifted to you, but you're not gonna probably get everything you need. And even if you got everything on your registry, there's gonna be other things that you actually need that you didn't think of. So just kind of like looking at the numbers, looking what's realistic, so as you start buying things, you know you're leaving yourself enough for all the other expenses that are coming up. It's not a fun exercise. Sometimes it can be really stressful, so try to like just know that lots of people have babies and they somehow figure out a way to take care of them, regardless of how much money you have coming in at that point. And also remember, somebody told me this recently, like the baby doesn't care what it's wearing, what its nursery looks like they don't care about anything. They don't know any of that stuff. So you don't have the perfect thing on the wall to go next to this in the nursery or whatever because you can't afford it. Like, the baby doesn't care. You care, obviously, which is a whole nother thing, is important, but the baby does not, like, the baby doesn't care. They don't know what's going on. All they want is time with you. So anyway, so another important thing for the list is health insurance. If you are married and you both work and have health insurance, then you want to look into both of your plans and see what the cost would be for a family of 3 to be on one versus the other, what your monthly cost would be, what benefits are covered, what sort of deductible the plan has, etc. That's something that we've already done. We figured out what would make the most sense for us. And, you know, right now it makes more sense for me to be on my own and my husband to be on his own because of the cost. But when there's 3 of us, it makes more sense for all of us to be on one. And we looked at the plans, and my husband's makes more sense. So me and baby are going to go into his after she's born, and he needs to call still to find out how much time we have to add her after she's born. I asked my insurance that question when we were researching everything, and they said you have 30 days to add her, and she's covered like retroactively as long as you call within 30 days, and she's covered under you while you're in the hospital. So that's how that works. Definitely look into your health insurance. Another insurance you might want to look into is life insurance. We are looking into getting life insurance for my husband. He has a small life insurance policy through work, and so do I, but having life insurance, it seems like maybe it's not necessary, but if something happens to you or your partner, then that's lost income on top of like the loss of the person, and that can be financially devastating, and you want to leave yourself in a good position. So I don't think I can get life insurance while I'm pregnant. So we're gonna wait until after the baby's born for me to get life insurance, but we're looking into a policy for my husband now. And if you get term life insurance, which basically means like you pay a premium every month, it doesn't build up a cash value, and it's for a certain number of months, like it's for a limited term, then the premium is going to be very low. It's not a good investment. Like it's kind of like rent. You're just paying it every month, and if you never use the policy, then it was all for nothing. But that's the purpose of insurance, is because it's insuring against one thing potentially happening, which is one of you, passing away. So again, not like a fun, good, like exciting thing to look into, but definitely something that's super important. If you can afford a more like a full, what's it called? A whole life policy or a universal life policy, there is some investing that can go on in there. So it can be like a financial investment and a and a life insurance policy. But if you don't want to be spending a lot, especially if you're young, in your 20s or 30s, a term policy can be really inexpensive. It's not going to affect your month-to-month budget that much, but it will give you a lot of peace of mind knowing that you have that. Another thing that we are looking into is cord blood banking. I don't know a lot about it, but I keep getting ads on all of my apps about it, and I'm pretty sure it basically means when your baby's born, they take the cord blood from the umbilical cord and they store it, and there's, you know, reasons why you might want to use that cord blood in the future with like developments in medicine and science. It can be used to help your baby if the baby gets sick. I don't know too much about it, but I definitely want to look into it. I don't think it's that expensive. I think it's expensive, but it's not like, you know, thousands of dollars. I think it's in the hundreds to maybe $1,000 range. So it's definitely worth looking into. If any of you guys know about cord blood banking or you have done it, then please comment below and let me know about your experience. Like, what did it cost? What is the purpose of it? And do you think it was worth it? And are you glad that you did it? So yeah, let me know. Another thing is I have been telling my friends, not friends, my family and like closest friends, something that my doctor told me, which is that anybody who is going to be holding the baby in the first like couple weeks of her life should get the whooping cough vaccine. I don't know if it's called the Tdap or if there's other like versions of it, but that's a vaccine that they recommend that anybody who's going to be holding the baby has, because it can be very dangerous for a newborn to catch whooping cough. So telling like people who are going to be holding your baby when they're in their first days of life to get that vaccine, you know, if that's important to you. Maybe it's not important to you, but to me, my doctor recommended it, and so I'm gonna follow my doctor's recommendation, and my parents and my sister and my mother-in-law and everybody's gonna get it, and my husband, obviously. And then they give it to you, at least in the US they do, they give it to you, I think in your like 8th month of pregnancy automatically. And the last kind of like practical thing that we're working on is setting up the classes with the hospital. So my hospital offers a bunch of different classes. One is on just childbirth. It's an all-day class. You can either do it in like four weeks with 2-hour sessions, or you can do an 8-hour class on the weekend. We're gonna try to do the 8-hour class on the weekend. So it's, I presume, all about the childbirth, like labor and delivery experience, and what to know and what to do. There's a class on newborn CPR and safety. There's a class on breastfeeding, and there's a class on newborn care. So we are going to try to take all of them. I already contacted my hospital, and they wrote back saying that they'll sign me up for classes or contact me to sign up for classes around like late March. So another like 6 or 8 weeks from now, which seems kind of late, but that's just how they do it. And I guess you don't want to do it too far in advance, because then you'll kind of forget what you learned. So contact your hospital or ask your doctor if you haven't heard about the class options, and get that going if you're like in your 2nd trimester. So that is it for today's video. I hope you found all these suggestions helpful. If there's anything else that's like practical and kind of like, you know, the less fun side of getting ready for baby that you did, that you think I should be doing, or you want other people to know about, then please comment below and let me know what I maybe am missing, because I'm sure there's other things that we could be doing. Again, being a first-time mom, I'm trying to cover all my bases, but I've never done this before. So I really want to know if you guys have any suggestions on other things we can do to prepare. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel and you want to subscribe to follow along with my pregnancy and hear of all the exciting things coming up, I'm going to be doing what's on my registry, what I eat in a day, and just pregnancy updates, and a house tour soon, to like pre-baby house tour, so I can show you the difference between before baby and after we get everything set up for baby. So those are all on my list for things to make soon. Super excited about all those videos. So thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.